So, good day everyone. My name is Elizabeth Rutiluya from BSHM3C, and today we're going to be talking about the global city. So, the global city is considered to be an important node in the global economic system. It is a significant production point of specialized financial and producer services that make the globalized economy run. So, global city, the use of global city as opposed to megacity, was popularized by the sociologist Saskia Sassen in her 1991 work, The Global City, New York, London, Tokyo, though the term world city. So, when we are going to be describing what is global city, it is an urban century that enjoys significant competitive advantages and that serves as a hub within a globalized economic system. So the term global city has its origins in research on cities carried out during the 1980s, which examined the common characteristics of the world's most important cities. So, global city is a significant production point of specialized financial and producer services that make the globalized economy run, as I said. Thus, the cities are major nodes in the internet interconnected systems of information and money. And the wealth that they capture is intimely related to the specialized business that facilitate those flows. Financial institutions, consulting firms, accounting firms, law firms, and media organizations. However, these flows are no longer tightly bound to national boundaries and system of regulations. So the dynamic of the global city are dramatically different than those of the great cities of the 19th century. That is the significance, or that is a global city, according to Sasson 2013. Now let's proceed to our next topic. Okay, now we will be proceeding to our next topic. So, according to Vliet and Van in their writings about cities and globalization, the effects of globalization certainly can be felt in rural and urban areas, but certainly the global forces are centered in cities where we can see most clearly phenomena of associated with their activities and as such the attributes of a global city. Here are the phenomena that can be clearly seen. Number one is the structure of employment. Number two is the formation of powerful partnerships. Number three is the development of monumental real estate. Number four is the emergence of new forms of local governance. Five is the effects of organized crime. Six is the expansion of corruption. Seven is the fragmentation of informal networks or the spatial isolation. And last but not the least, number eight is the social exclusion of certain population groups. That is very clear as we can see in very urbanized cities. The structure of employment is good. For example, is that we can see uh, many people from the rural areas going to Manila because they want employment um, in Manila because the salary is way bigger. And corruption is everywhere. The expansion of corruption because bigger bigger business you can, you know. And the formation of powerful partnerships because of the big businessmen, big business, booming business in not only in rural areas but also in urbanized areas. Okay, so let's proceed to the contribution of cities as engines of globalization. So, number one is the provision of suitable labor force. Number two is the availability of physical and technological infrastructure. Number three is the creation of stable and accommodating regulatory environment. Number four is the existence of necessary support services. And number five is the institutional rather capacity and financial incentives. So the role of city authorities and their civil societies also play important roles in mediating on determining the necessities of its cities that could be contributed to globalization, and most especially the relationship between economic globalization and human development, so that cities act not on as engines of growth but also for greater social justice and environmental sustainability. Okay, so let's proceed to our next topic.
The top 20 known cities in the world. First is Hong Kong, or Hong Kong, China. Hong Kong is a major shopping destination, famed for bespoke tailors and temple street night markets. Second on the list is Bangkok, Thailand, a global hub that's a gateway to the rest of Asia. Bangkok is famous for its Buddhist shrines, street shopping, and local food. Fourth is London, United Kingdom. Big Ben, the London Eye, Buckingham Palace, and Means London stays front and center. Fifth is Singapore. It is the home of the world's most Instagrammable hotel, an exciting mix of cultures and state-of-the-art restaurants. Sixth is Macau, China. With the nickname Las Vegas of Asia, Macau is a mega popular casino scene where everything is OTT. Seventh is Paris, France. The city of love will continue to be one of the world's most loved holiday destinations. Its biggest attractions, the Eiffel Tower and Great Cuisine. Eighth on the list is Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Dubai has burst onto the tourism scene with fancy resorts, outstanding museums, and shopping malls and luxury vibes. Ninth is New York City. Where to begin with the Big Apple? Each broth offers something different from trendy Brooklyn to stylish Manhattan. Number 10 is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Home to the famous Petronas Twin Tower, the skyline here at night is unforgettable. One of the world's most visited cities in well worth a visit. The list is Shenzhen, China. Shenzhen links Hong Kong to China's mainland and is a fantastic place to come to designer shopping. 12 is Phuket, Thailand. The island of Phuket has beautiful beaches, a pretty old town, and five-star resorts, so it's easy to see why so many people want to visit. 13 is Istanbul, Turkey. Istanbul is the country's economic, cultural, and historic center. 14 is Delhi, India. Made up of New Delhi and Old Delhi, the city never slows down. Enjoy the famous street foods markets and the buzz. 14 is Tokyo, Japan. Super busy but super exciting. Tokyo offers a look into the future of what every city could be like. 15 is Rome, Italy. Drink incredible wine, see the Vatican and the Colosseum in the Italy's must-visit city. 16 is Antalya, Turkey. A popular Turkish resort city, Antalya's continued to be a popular pick for holiday makers looking to relax in the sun. 7th is Taipei, Taiwan. Come to Taipei for its busy shopping streets and lively street food scene. 18 was Guangzhou, China. China's third biggest city has internationally renowned restaurants, striking buildings, and mountain views. 19 was Mumbai, India. Mumbai is an exciting, busy city with a vibrant nightlife scene and colonial buildings. Last but not the least is Prague, Czech Republic. Nicknamed the City of Hundred Spires, Prague is an affordable option for many young travelers. These countries set themselves as an example of leading nations toward globalization, like New York, London, Paris, Bangkok, and Dubai. Exemplify the characterization of global cities because of their outstanding system that addresses national problems, provides solutions for contemporary problems, and execute innovation toward growth economically, politically, and economically.
Okay, let's talk about global demography. What is global demography? It is refers to the study of human populations and the process through which populations change in respect to environment, geography, and climate. In my research in the past 50 years, the world accelerated its transition out of long-term demographic stability as infant and child mortality rates fell, populations began to soar. It said that in most countries, this growth led to falling fertility rates. Although fertility has fallen, the populations can be still continues to increase. Why? Because of the population momentum that will eventually level off. Meanwhile, demographic change has created a bold generation which today appears in many countries as large working age population. This cohort will eventually become a large population in both developed and developing countries. Example of this is the experiences of East Asia. Ireland and Sub-Saharan Africa all serve as evidence of the effect of demographic change on economic growth.
Before I start my topic assigned, what is demography first? Demographic are statistics that describe population and their characteristic. Demographic analysis is the study of population based on factors such as age, race, and sex. For much of human history, demographic patterns were reasonably stable. Human population grew slowly and the age structure, birth rates, and death rates of population change only gradually. Epidemics and pandemics had huge effect on population, but these effects were short-lived and had a little bearing on long-term trends. The global population, which stood at just over 2 billion in 1950, is 6.5 billion today. The world is currently gaining new inhabitants at a rate of 76 million people a year. Representing the difference in 2005 between 134 million births and 58 million deaths. Although this growth is slowing, middle ground projection suggests the world will have 9.1 billion inhabitants by 2050, when growth will be approximately 34 million a year. This past and projected addition to world population have been and will increasingly be distributed unevenly across the world. Today, 95% of population growth occurs in developing countries. And look at the figure 1. The population of the world's 50 less developed countries is expected to more than double by the middle of this century, with several poor countries tripling their population over the period. By contrast, the population of the developed world is expected to remain steady at around 1.2 billion, with population declines in some wealthy countries.
The demographic transition is a generalized description of the changing pattern of morality, fertility, and growth rates as societies move from one demographic regime to another. Ay isang pangkalahatang panglalarawan ng pagbabago ng pattern ng moralidad, pagkamayabong at mga rate ng paglago habang ang mga lipunan ay lumipat mula sa isang demograpikong rehimen patungo sa isa pa. 4 stages to the classical demographic transition model. Pre-transition. Characterized by high birth rates and high fluctuating death rates, population growth was kept low by malnutrition, preventative, and positive checks. Early transition. During the early stages of the transition, the death rate begin to fall as birth rates remain high. The population starts to grow rapidly. Late transition. Birth rate starts to decline, the rate of population growth decelerates. Post-transition. Post-transitional societies are characterized by low birth and low death rates. Population growth is negligible or even enter a decline.
Common reasons for expatriation. Expatriate failure isn't hugely common, but still does happen. Often, the reasons for it are either one of two things: personal or due to the insufficient support and help from the global and mobility team. The first one is culture shock. What is culture shock? Culture shock is often one of the most typical reasons for expatriate failure. It occurs where a candidate is not fully prepared for a new culture their assignment requires them to be a part of. Whether there are language barriers, strict laws or customs, or even just a totally unfamiliar climate and daily routine. While an element of this can be down to a lack of preparation, of insufficient information of the candidates is simply just not right for the role based of his or her own personality and needs. The second is family stress. What is family stress? International assignments are already difficult for the individual, and for a family, they can often be even harder. Relocating the entire family is difficult. There needs to be spousal support, decisions made about schools, daycare, the partner's career, and even basic things like family health care. Language barriers and housing needs can become more complicated, and rather than just one person's ability to adapt a new culture, defining the success of the assignments, it's an entire family. The third is the Global Mobility Team. What is the Global Mobility Team? A suitable and well-organized global mobility team are essential to the success of an international assignment. They are responsible for arranging all support for a candidate, information about the local culture, transport, housing, school, searches, spousal support, and many other vital aspects of daily life. The fourth is responsibility overload. What is responsibility overload? As well as dealing with the responsibilities of a new job, candidates have to adjust to a new culture and new work environment and the challenges that brings. Trying to manage local staff can often be difficult due to cultural differences, and often staff teams can be larger than a candidate may have before been used to. Overload of responsibility can lead to increased stress, physical exhaustion, and emotion impacts such as anxiety, frustration, and anger. The last is poor candidate selection. What is poor candidate selection? More often than not, the assignment fails because the corporation has made a poor choice in candidate. If a selection is based on the headquarters criteria rather than the assignment needs or even the candidate needs, the assignment is almost doomed to fail. While someone may appear to be a perfect for the role on paper, their own personal needs can often make them the worst candidate overall.
Migration is often viewed as a problem that must be managed and even restricted by states because it can bring about unexpected changes. One method by which states attempts to enhance control of the problem is to categorize international migrants. Humanity has been on move since the earliest times. Some relocate in search of environmental or economic opportunities. Others flee conflict, persecution, terrorism, or violation of human rights. Others relocate in response to negative consequences of climate change, natural disaster, and other environmental factors.
Categories of migration. There are two basic types of migration studied by demographer. First, internal migration. This refers to a change of residence between a national boundaries, such as between state, province, cities, or municipalities. An internal migrant is someone who moves to a different administrative territory. Second, international migration. This refers to a change of residence over national boundaries. An international migrant is someone who moves to a different country. International migrants are further classified as legal immigrants. Illegal immigrants and refugees. Legal immigrants are those who move with the legal permission of the receiver. National illegal immigrants are those who move without legal permission, and refugees are those cross an international boundaries to escape persecution.
Cause of migration. Ito ay para makaiwas o makatakas sa past future harassment persecution. Harassment or ill treatment because of race, religion, and nationality or political views. To escape conflict or violence. In most countries, especially US, people who experience persecution choose to become refugees or asylum seekers. Refugees and asylum seekers describe people who left their own origin country and have crossed borders. Refugee is a person who left their own country dahil sa matinding harassment or persecution na nararanasan nila sa sariling bansa. Kaya mas pinipili nilang mag-migrate upang humingi ng tulong at proteksyon sa ibang bansa na hindi kayang ibigay ng sariling government. Asylum seekers seek status upon arrival. To find refugees after being displaced due to environmental factors. Natural disaster caused by climate change affect people living in poverty. People who migrate caused by natural disaster are called climate refugees. Isang halimbawa nito ang mga bansa or lugar na malimit na tinatamaan ng matinding disasters. Kaya't napipilitan silang umalis or mag-migrate sa kanilang sariling bansa or lugar. Marami pa ding lugar ang sinusubukang solusyonan ang pagtaas ng issue ng mga nag-migrate na mga tao dahil sa natural disaster. To seek superior healthcare. May mga bansang mahihirap na limitado lamang ang access ng healthcare. Instead of waiting and suffering, they choose to migrate to cure their illnesses. To escape poverty. People prefer to migrate to have a job with high salary to escape poverty. Isang reason ito kaya napipilitang mag-migrate ang isang individual ay para matakasan or makaahon sa kahirapan. Dahil may ilang bansa na masyadong mababang magpasahod at bukod dito ay dahil corrupt na nasa government or hindi maganda ang sistema ng isang workplace or environment. To offer more opportunities to children. Isa sa dahilan kung bakit kailangang mangibang bansa ng mga tao ay para mabigyan nila ng magandang kinabukasan ang kanilang pamilya at mga anak kapalit ang paglayo sa mga ito. Family reunification. As the process of bringing together family members, particularly children, spouse, and elderly dependents, in its handbook of selected terms and concept. Family reunification ay isang halimbawa ng migration na kung saan ang isang tao ay nagpanetizen in other country. Ayain niya na doon manirahan upang mabuo ang pamilya at makasama ang mga ito. For education purpose. One of the reason is educational purpose dahil may ilang mga country na hindi kayang magbigay ng educational system like Nigeria, at South Sudan, na kung saan napipilitan silang umalis sa sariling bansa para makapag-aral dahil sa mga offer sa kanila na scholar sa ibang bansa. For job or business opportunities. People travel in other country because of job and business opportunities. Isa sa dahilan kung bakit napipilitang lumayo or mag-abroad ang tao because of salary or mataas ang palitan dito kumpara sa Pilipinas. Marriage. Marriage ay isang dahilan na kung saan mapapalipat ka ng ibang bansa at doon magpanetizen. Isa sa halimbawa nito ay ang pag-aasawa ng ibang lahi or mga foreigner.
I know